Hi, my name is Robert ODowd, and I work at the University of León in Spain. I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about virtual exchanges, what they are, and how teachers can help to get students to do things together online and to learn from these experiences. First of all, let's be clear about what we mean by virtual exchanges. You might have heard the term before, or maybe you've heard other terms that are well known, such as telecollaboration or collaborative online international learning, COI. But very basically, this is all about getting students in different locations to work online together, carry out projects, and to develop their intercultural skills and their language skills by doing this. The teachers that engage their students in these type of projects believe that by doing so, their students will develop their online communication skills, foreign language competence, their intercultural awareness, and develop more curiosity for other cultures. I've been involved lately in a lot of research projects that have been looking at the impact of virtual exchange on students. This is just an example, one that you can read for free online, the Evaluate project. So we know at this stage that virtual exchange has great potential for learning. But what I'm interested in my research is looking at what can teachers do to maximize the benefits of these projects. What I'd like to highlight for you guys today are basically three different ways that teachers can make an impact: through mentoring, through the tasks they develop for their students, and how they integrate assessment into exchanges. The first one of these that I'd like to look at is mentoring. Okay, mentoring basically is providing pedagogical support for your students. And in the next couple of examples that we're going to see, we're going to realize that even though young people nowadays are often called digital natives, that doesn't necessarily mean they're very good at online intercultural communication. Let's have a look at some examples of this. This first extract from an email that a student in Germany wrote to her partner in Ireland is just one example that shows that students often need support in how to interact correctly online. But take a couple of minutes to read this message and see how would you feel if you received it. And take a look at this blog that my students here in Spain once made for their new partners in Israel and Palestine. Do you think this made a good impression on their partners? And do you think that our university was represented in an appropriate way in the project through this blog? So those two examples show you that students need help about how they formulate their phrases, whether they ask too much information, how direct they are, and also in how polite and appropriate they are online. But this is another example here. This is a student who's made this really nice video presenting herself. Now let's have a look at the two different messages that she received as a response. Which one do you think is better? Here's the first response she received from her partners to her video. Do you think this message leads to more dialogue, more interaction? Does it encourage a response? What about this one? Take a look at this message. Is this better? Why? Why do you think it's better? So those examples I've just shown you, I think should illustrate that teachers need to be involved as students create their messages, their blogs, their online interactions. They need help and feedback from their teachers about how to formulate things. A second thing that teachers can do to ensure successful online learning is creating good tasks. Now the question, of course, is what is a good task? Normally in virtual exchanges, students do three different types of tasks together. First of all, they get to know each other in an icebreaker. Then they compare aspects of their cultures. And finally, they're asked to collaborate together to make something and to do something, which of course is the most difficult. The problem is, many teachers, when they get their students interacting online, ask them to do pretty unreflective, basic exchanges of information. Prepare a PowerPoint presentation, explore stereotypes, speak about your daily lives. These are pretty unchallenging type of tasks that rarely lead to proper online intercultural learning. However, if you can get your students to carry out surveys and create reports together about what they've done, or for example, if they work in business studies, to prepare advertising campaigns for the same product in the two countries, or if they're future teachers, ask them to create lesson plans um, together, collaborating together. These type of tasks are much tougher. They require strong collaboration, and that can really lead to learning. And the final way I think teachers can really shape intercultural learning, in virtual exchanges, is through assessment. Depending on the questions that you ask students to do in their assessment, you can really get them to think and reflect on what they've learned and what's happened to them during their online experiences. Here's one example of part of the portfolio that I asked my students to complete. Here they're asked to reflect a little bit on the way online interaction worked, on the different use of language by their different partners, and the expression of politeness. So by carefully structuring your questions in your portfolios or in your final essays, you can really get students to think about what they've learned and what they've experienced. There's no more time to go into much more detail about this, but if you're interested in learning more about virtual exchange, you can, for example, follow up through the Erasmus Plus Virtual Exchange platform. You can also consider joining Uni Collaboration. This is an organization we have set up to support virtual exchange. On our website, you'll find news of conferences, networking events, and there's lots of resources there. And you're more than welcome to join. So that's it for now. Thanks a lot for listening. I hope this has just given you a taste of what teachers can do in order to support their students' learning in virtual exchanges. Thanks for listening.